You probably don't know this, but your brain switches from nighttime to daytime at a very specific time in the middle of the night. And what time is that? Well, there's a very satisfying answer based on your circadian physiology. Let me explain in the next minute. Friendly reminder, I'm a sleep physician at Duke. I specialize in sleep issues. Follow me if you want to nerd out on sleep. Quick reintroduction to your circadian rhythm. One of the things that your circadian rhythm does is it gives you an alerting signal in a roughly 24-hour pattern that's running in the background all the time. It's depicted here in these yellow arrows. This chart goes from 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. the next day. And these up and downs are the typical alerting signal that the circadian rhythm gives you. Now, depending on whether you're a morning person or a night owl, these yellow arrows can shift either to the right or to the left. But for the purposes of this example, we'll say this person is somewhat neutral, probably going to bed around 10 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. Now, when you have light exposure in your brain's nighttime, what happens is that these arrows all end up shifting to the right. So if I were to shine lots of bright light at this person right around 9 p.m., about an hour before they go to bed, and I did that for a while, the next day, all of these arrows would have shifted slightly to the right. Here's another way of depicting that, right? So the yellow up here was normal up and down pattern. I gave you a lot of light in your brain's nighttime, and the next day everything is shifted over a bit to the right, such that you'd want to go to bed a little bit later and wake up a little bit later. You turn into a little bit more of a night owl. What happens if I give this person bright light right when they wake up, right around 6 a.m. and expose them to them for a few hours? Well, you guessed it, everything shifts over to the left. Here's the visual on that leftward shift. Same pattern of up and down. Everything is shifted over to the left. You become a little bit more of an early bird because you're going to wake up a little bit earlier and you want to go to bed a little bit earlier. All right, so fair enough. Light exposure to your brain's nighttime causes you to shift arrows over to the right. Light exposure to your brain's morning time causes you to shift these arrows over to your left. But what happens if I bust into their house at midnight and I shine a bright light in their face for about an hour? One, they'll call the cops, but two, their circadian rhythm will shift to the right because it's still their brain's nighttime. What if I shine that bright light at 5 a.m. in this example? Well, at 5 a.m., that's the brain's morning. And so the next day, the pattern of this up and down will have shifted to the left. So this is so cool. There's got to be some magic time in which your brain switches from night mode to day mode, in which the effects of light go from delaying your yellow arrows to advancing them. That time happens to correspond with when your body temperature is at its lowest. And what is that time? About 2.3 hours prior to your normal habitual wake-up time. Sleep is so cool.